Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are looking at the energy of next week. So this next week is whenever you discover this video. I do weekly uploads on this though, so if you're following along, this is your next week that I'm uploading it from, or when you are discovering it. So next 5 to 7 days, and this is a pick a card reading. You get to pick a card. So if you see a pile that looks intriguing, looks inviting, looks like it resonates to you, I have the timestamps down below. Otherwise, I will be putting some numbers and some crystals on these cards to help you to decide. This is also a general reading, so take what resonates. If you get into a pile and it just does not sound like you or your energy at all, feel free to look at a different one. You can also be drawn to more than one, and you are more than welcome to watch more than one. So I put the numbers on here. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Let's take a look at the crystals. So for group number 1, this is rose quartz. Let's see. That will put it in the frame. For group number 2, we have orange calcite. For group number 3, we have blue calcite. If you are still having a hard time deciding, I'm going to take a cleansing breath, and you're invited to do that with me. So go ahead and close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and release. Release tension. Just be present in this moment. Focus on your next week. What energies, what challenges, what advice you need to hear about. So open your eyes, and whichever pile you are drawn to, that is for you. So I will see you at your reading. Hello, group 1. If you picked the rose quartz, I balked there for a second, or the number 1, or the pile, you were in the right place. So let's take a look at next week. So I pull a card that talks about the overall energy for next week, and then the rest of the cards are kind of how to surround it, how to get over it, how to embrace it, depends on our card. And our card here is Heareth, longing for home, homesickness, for the stars. Now, it's really interesting. This particular deck that I'm talking about is for starseeds. So when it talks about like a homesickness, it could be that you are in a place where you just don't feel like you belong. And your homesickness is for a place that you have never been, or that you feel like may not even exist. But this can also talk about like homesickness for your youth. Maybe you've moved away from home. Maybe you are in a different city. Maybe there's just an aspect of your past that you are really thinking about or relating about right now. Sometimes the homesickness can be like about a relationship. So the complication, or what we should watch out for with this energy, is, if you're feel homesick about an ex, for example. And it's really important to kind of think about this, ruminate about it. What is it that you actually miss? Is it that you just miss a connection, and it's not necessarily attached to that person? Because that gets us into a trap sometimes, where we get into this endless cycle or circle about going back to our ex. It's also interesting, our neighbor was telling us how he wished he had his CJ still. CJ is a type of Jeep. Our neighbor's in his 70s. The CJ is it's like a cool Jeep to have. It will definitely do some rock crawling, but it's also very high maintenance. It's not very it's not very comfy to sit in. I'm not, air conditioning is probably non-existent. And my husband told him, no, you don't. And he's like, what? He's like, you don't want that. Like sometimes we go back to something that we think that we wanted, and our realization is that, we've either changed or that thing has changed and it no longer suits us anymore. So that's the important thing to remember with this longing, is sometimes we can't go back because there's nothing to go back to, or it's just, we aren't the same anymore. So what's important with this is to kind of like, it's fun to reminisce about the past, and if you have a friend that you can do that with, that's great too. Somebody who can like give you perspective, like, no, you don't miss your ex. Your ex was terrible. What you miss is the closeness. What you miss is the connection. And then you figure out, like, what is it that you really do miss? Because then you can make an intention or a plan for the future to find that thing or fill it up. What is it that you are actually longing for? And with this in particular, where it talks about star seeds and missing like a home that you've never been into, the important thing is to realize that we are all connected. So sometimes we are missing that thing because we feel lonely, and to fill it with love and self-love. And this kind of also talks about specifically this card in connection to star seeds, but this can resonate for you even if you don't identify that way, is the oneness with source. So God, Buddha, Muhammad, whatever it is, if you are practicing a specific religion, you could just not feel connected to that source right now. And that is a huge source, if you will, of sadness sometimes. So we need to figure out this homesickness. So these are advice cards. I'll put them to the side. Our tarot cards we have is the Seven of Pentacles upright, and then we have the Strength reversed, and we have the Empress, okay, and then we've got Page of Wands reversed. So very interesting. I feel like this is a week for a lot of soul searching, looking inside, figuring things out. We've already touched on that a little bit, like identifying really like the source, the real root cause of what is making you feel homesick or what it is that you're missing, and set that intention for the future. Because I feel like with the Empress here, it's a really good sign that when you set that intention, like she is all about like this nurturing, loving energy that you might be missing. She's divine feminine, but she's also talks about creativity and fertility and abundance. So really moving forward with abundance. Now the Page of Wands is the person who would move forward. This is the only like real movement card in the bunch, and it's reversed. So it just tells me that this week, yes, going forward, once we define these things for yourself and you do some soul searching, like going forward after this week is going to be great for you. But right now is just a time to really sit here and think about the things that you are passionate about. Pages are about movement, but this is again in reverse. And wands are things that you're passionate about. And of course, you may be having a hard time with that, with your passion, when we've got the Seven of Pentacles and Strength in reverse. Now, nothing is wrong with either of these cards, but it just tells us something about the energy and what's going on right now. Seven of Pentacles, this is somebody, he's looking in the past, right? He's looking behind him, but he's looking at his work and what he has done so far. This may be, it can be really objective if you are looking at it from a position of, next time I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. But where it can get difficult is if you just look at all your work, and we're 7 here, we've done like 70% of the work, and you just want to throw it all out. which kind of makes, you know, with this homesickness and with strength in reverse, it makes me think that you're kind of looking at it in that way. And but I want you to look at it really from, you have put in a lot of work. Whatever this crop is, let's say it's pumpkins, for example. I mean, those start off from tiny, tiny seeds. There was nothing in the ground. There was just like barren ground. Like you had, this is really this is a lot of progress, and you really need to look at this and give yourself credit. A lot of times though, we get to this point where we've had this creative vision and we work on it and we put it forth, and then we just don't finish it because we're not feeling the same way about it as we were in the beginning. It's not fresh and it's not new. But I feel like the Page of Wands is here to say, finish it. Let's put in this work. And the Empress is saying that once you're done with this, you're going to be so happy, and it's going to be really fulfilling in a way that, like right now, that you're looking at it and it's not. So strength in reverse is, you know, just some self-doubt. You know, the opposite of strength, some weakness, low confidence, that you've put in this work, and I think you just kind of feel like it should be done now. We should be at harvest, but the harvest moon hasn't come yet. But you're so close. You are so close. Don't quit now. Just keep going and dig just a little bit deeper. You've got this. And I probably it's just a waiting game at this point, that you've put in all this effort and you just need to wait. And that's kind of like really what the Page of Wands in reverse is talking about too. It's just like a wait week. It's a week to really dig into like these feelings and to get over it. And remember the Empress here and the abundance that is available to you. If you are concerned about starting a new creative project, get this one out of the way and it will be ready for you to start when you are done here and ready to go. So then we've got She Who Guides, Maputla. These names are sometimes really fun. So new path, guide, renewal. And I love the stars here because we talked, you know, homesickness for the stars. We've got stars here, we've got stars here. And it makes me think of the North Star. You know, find that direction that you started with, that intention, that endpoint that you wanted to be at. Sometimes in the process we get lost. So it's not necessarily a new path here, but finishing that old path. I also love that she's got silver hair. She doesn't look older, but her hair is silver. I also love this card for like the synchronicities. And what I mean by that is there are signs that you are on the right track sometimes. And when you are kind of in self-doubt, you're not really looking for them, I think synchronicities can pop up. The reason that she reminds me of synchronicities is we've got a bird here and we've got bells. These are often like just hearing a specific bell, seeing like patterns. Sometimes birds are like harbingers to give us information that we're on the right path. So I feel like you should be looking for those things. Also very divine feminine, be nurturing with yourself. And we've got that. And then the final card, we have She Who Persists, Jocelyn, perspective, defiant, persistent. And I think I talked about perspective with this first card here, putting things in the Seven of Pentacles, like putting in things in perspective, like how far you've come. Don't feel like you're a failure, that you're not done yet. You're just not done, and that's okay, because because she's here to like, let's finish this. Let's be defiant. We're going to do this bit. And maybe you're not done because you've been doing it on somebody else's terms, because Jocelyn does things on her terms. She's got her headscarf here and her dress, and they don't necessarily go together, but they go with her, and she's doing things her way. My 6-year-old daughter, she gets what she wants because she is persistent. She's the master of being persistent. If I tell her no, she asks her dad. If her dad tells her no, she asks her grandma. If her grandma tells her no, she asks her grandpa, and he never tells her no. So it's keep going at something and keep doing it until you accomplish it. You are almost there. Be persistent. And this perspective, I think, is very, very important, because when you're in this strength reversed position, you know, you need a little bit of confidence. You need the perspective. You need to look at things from the Empress point of view, from the map, from the She Who Guides point of view. Be that leader, get that perspective, you know, get some confidence going, because you have come a long, long way and you were almost there. So thank you, group 1. If you stuck with me this long, please give me a like, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group 2. If you picked the number or the orange calcite, you were in the right spot. So I'm just going to move those out of the way. So overall energy for the next week, I usually pull one card to kind of represent that, and then the other cards kind of give us advice on how to best embrace it or hit head-on challenges, whatever it is. And I almost feel like we might have some challenges, because this is the great severing. Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. So it's really interesting, because I feel like you know, our emotions give us guidance. They help us figure out where we are, where we want to be, what we like, what we don't like, those kinds of things. It helps us explore the world. And anger is one of those where it's kind of one of those emotions that we're told we shouldn't have, right? So what happens then is when we hit discomfort, we kind of like push it down and push it down and push it down until it kind of like bubbles up to the top, like it comes out. And it's what is awesome about anger. Yes, anger can be awesome. It helps us take action. It helps us do something. It helps us. It's an energy of action. It's an energy of energy. It's energy of desire. It definitely moves us somewhere. And that's what I like about it. This is really interesting. That this is Mars. Mars is ruled by Aries. Aries is a fire sign, so passion can be important. I'm also struck with how dark the sky is. It makes me think of our shadow selves. I think I said that like anger kind of bubbles up to the surface. I think that there's something underneath that you either need to be integrating or embracing. If you have ever thought about shadow work, this is a good week for it. But I feel like, you know, there is something that is pushing you a little bit in your anger. It's something that's causing you pain and anxiety. And, you know, those aren't... There's no need to suffer. We can move past that. I also love the softening to love. So the love would be Venus. Venus and Mars are equal. And I was reading about them. I'm talking about in astrology here, that like Venus, you know, Venus is love, and it's embracing love and being in that spot, but Mars is what moves us there. Mars is what gets us to love, because we have to take action sometimes and we have to let go of some things. And anger is just, like I said, a great motivator. I also like this is severing, so letting go, releasing things. You know, sometimes I have anger can be like a volcano that is just pent up and held so much, and we just have to let it go. There are constructive ways to do that. It doesn't mean that it's okay for you to just, you know, punch someone at the grocery store or road rage. That's not okay. But when we use our anger in a constructive way, it can really get things done. It's, you know, the really kind of like the base motivator. So this is also interesting. I'm just looking at this card. We've got the little face that is on Mars here, but we've got dwellings and also water. I visited a lot of canyons recently. I will be uploading videos on that, but water is kind of like the love kind of coming into the landscape, softening to love, and the water interacting with the landscape, that really sculpts things, that sculpts you. And sometimes we're just kind of like, we don't let it in, because if we do get hurt, we just have like this boundary around ourselves. We don't let people in. And anger is a way to kind of just release and let in. So, and then we've got the Queen of Swords reversed, the Seven of Wands reversed, the Eight of Swords reversed, and the Page of Swords reversed. Okay. I'm gonna put these away for later. So my rule is when I get all reversals, I don't read all reversals. Usually I turn them all around, but I don't feel like that's the right way to approach this either. I feel like, but you know, getting all reversals tells me something. It tells me that we either need a change or, you know, there's gonna be a shift. Or we're just not ready for certain things yet. I feel like, though, with this great severing and this movement that comes with this Mars energy, I feel like there's going to be a shift. I feel like there's going to be a change for you. I feel like you're going to be seeing things in a new perspective. I feel like the Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords is what we need to shift around. And I'll talk about that. So the Queen of Swords energy, definitely, like in the beginning of the Mars energy where we've got anger and conflict, you see this conflict here with the Seven of Wands, that we kind of just need, again, to bring in that love, and that's going to be very helpful. So the Queen of Swords is somebody who is, she should be, ideally, she is such a creative energy. She creates the realm that she overlooks, which is thoughts and communications. Oh, and I also find it interesting here that Mars is fire energy, and Seven of Wands is fire energy, and then we've got Queen of Swords, Eight of Swords, Page of Swords. This is air energy. Air feeds fire. Fire can be very destructive, but it can be very, like in the case of like passion, it can be very constructive. Or you can, if you harness it in the right way, it's very cleansing. It's like a renewal. And I feel like when we just have this raw anger and conflict, that it is in a destructive phase. And it's really time for you to stand in your power by flipping around this Queen of Swords and release yourself from some of these negative things so that you can be the best version of you that there is. And letting go of this anxiety over here with the Eight of Swords. So the Queen, going back to the Queen of Swords, if you've ever heard like the saying, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, that's the Queen of Swords reversed. She's not happy right now. And maybe she's not, because she's a master communicator normally, and what she should be. And when she steps into her power, she is, and she lets everybody know. But since she's in reversed, like, it's her actions that let everybody know that she's not happy, and then nobody around her is happy. So we really need to, pull back on the spitefulness, pull back on the cruelty, kind of bring in some love and understanding that maybe we don't have here when we have a conflict with others, and really stand in your power, really harness this passion that you have, really harness this fire energy that's like bubbling underneath you, because you can control it. And the Queen of Swords upright will do that. She can and will do that. She's very independent, but she's also fair and principled. So when we soften with love, right? When we bring in this love, or we think about love, or we allow it in more with the Seven of Wands reversed and the Eight of Swords reversed, we need to really allow this love in, and whether that is love from somebody else, or from our friends, or from our family, or really just love for ourselves, then you can be constructive. And that's what I feel like is going to shift and change for you this week. That's what I feel like you really need to embrace, this constructive nature of your passions. So then we have the Seven of Wands reversed, and you can see here that you're here fighting a battle with other people, and they're coming at you, and you're like standing your ground. But when it's in reversed, it can just be like overwhelming, yes, but like it's time to surrender. It's time to, it's not really giving up, because I don't feel like you're letting go of your passion, but it's being the bigger person here when you stand in your power, and not getting into petty arguments. And I feel like a lot of times the Seven of Wands can be very, very petty, and fighting over things that just don't matter, and fighting with people who you're not going to change your mind, they're not going to change your mind, and it's a like, okay, we're just going to agree to disagree, because I feel like the fighting is keeping you in one spot. It is filling your head with so Eight of Swords is ideas and thoughts. It's filling your head with the wrong ideas. It's filling your head with the wrong thoughts. It's filling your head in the wrong ways, and it's not letting you really progress the way you should, the way this Page of Swords should. The Page of Swords should be allowing in new ideas, something that's refreshing, something that's going to move you in a positive way. But the Eight of Swords is just keeping you anchored here. All these thoughts, all these things going through your mind when you have all these conflicts, even if you aren't expressing this anger, it's like bubbling up under the surface, and you're concentrating on it, and it's holding you back. It's time to release those things, and you definitely can do that as long as you understand that you stand in your power and take ownership of it, and realize that you're the one who's blindfolding yourself, and you're the one who's allowing this conflict to be on your mind. When this is in reverse, it talks about freedom and release, and really taking control, facing your fears and being empowered. And a lot of that power is kind of back to the Seven of Wands reversed, surrendering, letting it go, that it's not really understanding that it's not important to you in your future, that you are blocking yourself. You're blocking this Page of Swords from being upright. And we want this Page of Swords to be upright, because In reverse, right now, she is stuck. She's stuck here with this conflict energy. She's stuck here with this anger. But when we allow it to bubble to the top, when we allow it to release, we reverse her, and maybe she is looking back here, but she's really moving towards the future, and she's moving here with the new idea. She's allowing new things, new clarity to come in, and those new ideas and that thirst for knowledge, getting back to your bubbly, witty self. So I love that for you. And then we have She Who Remains, Melanie, powerful devotion and true worth. And She Who Frees, Carly, liberation, unrestrained freedom. So let's talk about Melanie here for a moment. I love her so much. It's kind of like a reflection here of standing in your power as the Ice Queen, knowing your true worth, not allowing some idiots on the internet to devalue you. When we take away, when we release, what remains is the true you. I love this throne. She's so much what I said, the Ice Queen before, right? It also reminds me of the Strength card here with her hand on her links, that she is standing in her power. And I love her hair being red like a flame, very much talking about the passions here. She's also highlighted, like she's the one that's highlighted. Don't let, a lot of times when we are angry or we are in conflict, we take our attention and we're putting it on somebody else and what they think, and allowing them really, when we argue with them over their beliefs and our beliefs, it's kind of like we're allowing them to like define us in a way, and you need to bring it back to yourself and bring it back, stand in your power. And to do that, Carly, She Who Frees, this Eight of Swords, very much in this freeing energy, this liberation, unrestrained freedom. You can see she is like, she's looking back here and just like casting this shackles that she's had around her wrist into the ocean. It's no longer going to hold her back. She's no longer going to hold herself back. She very much is like this Page of Swords here. The stance is very, very similar. So I think it's a kind of a nod to the Page of Swords, but also very much related here to this Eight of Swords, where we are letting go and moving on. And that is what I have for you, group 2. It really does, harness that anger for positive. Stand in your power. Remember who you are and release the things that are no longer serving you. And that is kind of the energy of this week. So if you stuck with me this long, please give me a like, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you. Hello, group 3. If you picked the number 3, or maybe the blue calcite, or just, liked the way that the shadow was on the pile, or the timestamp, well, you are in the right spot. So overall energy for this next week, and we have the Seas of Minnetonka. So this is about getting clarity, seeing potential, and bringing unconsciousness to light. The Seas of Minnetonka. This is an extraterrestrial world, by the way. But the seas are they're meant to be like crystal clear, that you're able to see everything and maybe gain a deeper understanding of yourself and how you are. So clarity this week, look for that. You can also see the potential in people and situations. You are a visionary. Like I said, you can see things that other people can't. This also is, whatever you're working on or doing this week, it's a good sign, if you will, because it's very like light and happy energy. It kind of reminds me of group 2 in a little bit. of a way that, because we're talking about our unconscious, I was talking about their shadow self in group 2, but that was through anger. You're learning about your unconsciousness and bringing it to light, kind of more in a positive way, with contentment and positive outcomes. Carl Jung, that which we do not bring to consciousness appears in our lives as fate. So it's definitely a week to look for synchronicities, look for signs, and in a positive way, things that are letting you know you're on the right track. But definitely a very lovely energy. I'm going to put these away for later. And the cards we have are the Nine of Wands reversed and the Knight of Pentacles. Very nice. And the Page of Cups reversed. And the Ten of Wands reversed. So I feel like you are somebody who is a very hard worker, and it might be difficult for you to like raise your hand and say that you need help. But when you're underwater, and this is, I'm getting this from the Page of Cups, kind of holding out her hand here. And she's very much related to water because it's Cups card and Seas of Minnetonka here. So when you are like underwater and you need to, like, you need some help, you need to release things, you need to let go of some things, you're carrying like this very large burden, and I feel like you're just somebody who puts like their nose to the grindstone and works really hard. But that, when you do that, which is great because you have like this great work ethic, but it also, those people are very stubborn, also a great quality. However, there are times when you need help, and I think you need to raise your hand and ask for help, because I think you have people around you who would love to help you. Hey! I'm doing a video! Let's talk about the Nine of Wands. This is kind of like an inner, it's our inner struggle. But it also talks about being overwhelmed. We get that also here with the Ten of Wands. That's why I'm thinking like you need to say, bring to light your situation to somebody else. I mean, the crystal clear water, I feel like you can clue somebody else in that you need to help you, because both of these are taking on like more and more and more and more. And even the Knight of Pentacles is very much like that. And the Page of Cups reverse is telling me that you're kind of underwater a little bit. However, I said something about like, seeing potential is written here on the card. But what's really interesting, when you see potential, or you see like the silver lining, the silver lining around like the dark clouds. It's really interesting, that thought with this particular deck, because every card is outlined in gold. So you have a gold lining around all of your cards. So that's also very lovely too. It's not a time to beat yourself up about these things. It's really a time of release, and it's really for its positive reasons. It's for you to, get help with what you need so that you're not overwhelmed. Everybody does see you as a very strong person as well. So don't be concerned about that. And I think that people are gonna definitely jump in and help you with things if you do raise your hand, because they know that you do need help if you ask for it, because you never ask for help. But the Nine of Wands here and the Ten of Wands here are like saying, like, hey, you need to let some things go. You need to delegate some things. You need to get some help. So Nine of Pentacles is somebody who is in it for the long haul. They put one foot in front of the other. They just, again, like nose to the grindstone, both with the Ten of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles. These are people who they do marathons. And I feel like your accomplishments are also tied to things that are like longevity, that take a while, and you're okay with that, and you kind of revel in that. It could be like degrees, it could be, a medal for a marathon, it could be something that you've just done for a long time, and almost repetitive too. But I feel like when that happens, you kind of aren't looking ahead, and you might be missing some opportunities. And this week is to kind of position yourself to find these opportunities. I want to talk about the Knight of Pentacles though, because I often talk about him he's here plowing fields, and he's doing that with love. He's here plowing fields, and he's doing that with love, and he's doing that for the love of his community and for himself. I mean, obviously, but because he's so conscious of his community, they'll come and help you if you need it, because they know that you're working for the good of them, and they are working, so they're more than happy to help you out here if you need some things. I often think of him as like a running back. Football season is almost here if you're watching this as I am uploading the video. A running back is the position where you they're your workhorse. They're the dependable. They're somebody that you can hand the ball to, and they're going to charge forward, and they will charge forward into a mass line of people, and they just keep their feet moving. And sometimes when you're watching it, you're like, wow, why would they choose that route? They're just going to run into the person in front of them. They're not going anywhere, and then all of a sudden they break it loose for a huge gain. But even in a lot of times running backs, they average 3 yards a carry. That doesn't seem like much, but when you have 4 downs and you need to go 10 yards, that's 12 yards. That is somebody who's really dependable. That is somebody who really gets the job done. And I think that you look at yourself in that way, and that may be why you just keep piling things on, keep taking it on. But you have to remember too that the running back has a whole team around him. He has somebody who hands him the ball. He has people who make those openings for him, who he can't do this alone, and neither can you. I mean, for him to look for opportunities, somebody has to come in and block. Somebody has to come in and help him out. And I feel like there's some opportunities for you. You're just not seeing it. So we've got the Page of Cups reversed, and I feel like you want new things, you want new ideas. You're just really kind of stuck with this routine and this day-to-day stuff, where you're like I said, you kind of feel like you're underwater a little bit, and you could be having creative blocks and doubting yourself, doubting your intuition. With the Seas of Mintanka, you shouldn't. You just need to have clarity about the situation. And I think us talking about it here, you're getting a perspective of, oh, okay, I know what I need to do to improve my situation, because it would be great if we could clear this blockage and just allow in fulfillment, that you're doing all this work, and there's a reason that it helps you in some way, that it is just fulfilling to you. And then we've got She Who Emerges, Kamala, Enlightenment, Mindfulness, and Rise Up. And then we've got She Who Divines, Future Choice Judgment. So I love Kamala here with the Seas of Mintanka, because she is emerging out of this water. I also love that she's looking up. She's looking for new things, but she's also focused on one thing. She's not allowing her attention to be separated by all of these things and then being overwhelmed by it. I also love her here kind of with this Page of Cups. It just kind of kind of seems like they're very much close in the same stance here, and it almost gives a circular feel, or like a yin yang kind of thing. So I feel like, you know, what we've talked about could really help you, and focusing on the one thing and just emerging out of this water, emerging out of this new, like, understanding of what you're going through, and you as a person, and what you need for your future. I think that you can look very brightly on your future, and this is you know, this is harmony and contentment, and seeing positive outcomes from the work that you've been putting in. And then she who divines. I love the future here. I love the choice. I feel like you do have a lot of choices available to you. She's holding the 7 of Hearts. So it's a playing card, but it refers back to the 7 of Cups, which is about love and fulfillment. Obviously, you know, it's hearts. But also choices. Like 7 of Cups, there's a lot of choices available to you. And if you're stuck in this energy where you're overburdened by those things, you're just not seeing it. And then we have the card on top that she's holding is La Mort, which is the death card, which is about change. So it's changing the perspective of how you're looking at things, so that, you know, you are finding positive outcomes in your situation, and you're setting that intention for yourself. You're not just letting life happen to you. You are choosing this flower over here, and you're focusing on it, and you're going for it, and you're getting what you want. And that's you know, very much with the Futura and the future, and looking at your choices. So that is what I have for you, group 3. I think it looks like a fantastic week, and I hope you have a fantastic week. And please give me a like, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.